What's going on, guys? And welcome to episode number 2 of the Tempered Podcast. And today we're speaking on doubt. Like all experiences in life, it's easy to look at the things that seem to be trying to hold us back and view them as blockages, as mud trying to keep us stuck. But the reality of doubt is very different. Here's why. My first memories of doubt came to me when I was probably like 9, 10 years old, and I used to go on bike rides with my older brother all the time. We used to go to this local track, and we'd find these dirt jumps, and we'd hit them with all we've got, pull up as hard as we can, and try and make the jump. Now, there's this one jump that I used to try and hit, stacked it multiple times. Now, of course, going through that experience is going to create a sense of fear, which accompanies the doubt. And I remember this one day, I was really, really struggling with this sense of doubt. And then I stopped trying. I stopped trying to hit that jump because I had failed so many times. To me, the pain was not worth the risk. What this was a moment of was doubt beginning to shape my identity. And this is something that I can see as a pattern throughout my life: childhood, teenage years, even adulthood. Doubt led to insecurity, feelings of worthlessness, shame, and self hatred, not being able to be authentically myself, because in my mind, I doubted that anyone around would be able to accept me for who I really was. Because who I was at that time was someone who was deeply emotional. A lot of I had a lot of emotional bandwidth, but I didn't have the tools or the experience to handle it. And so I became very reactive. I'd blow my lid at the drop of a hat, quite literally sometimes. I remember people stealing my hat, and I'd fucking flip it, punching holes in walls and kicking doors through the door frame and throwing things, and even with punching bags. I used to hit them so fucking hard and so with such a ferocious intensity that I broke many of them. Granted, granted they were outside, right? So they were also weathered. But I just had this rage about me. And I didn't like people seeing that. But it always came out. And a part of that experience was doubt, as I just said. I used to try and act tough like I was unbothered. I stood up to bullies in the moment for friends, even though I was terrified. And that speaks to courage that I possessed. But then, in the same light, if I ran into those bullies in a one on one situation, I cowered. I'd look to the ground, my body language would come in a bit. And I remember just feeling shameful and weak and pathetic. Even though I had all these beautiful moments of doing the thing that I aspired to do, I still got crushed by the insecurity and the shame that came along with doubt. Doubt in my ability and my capacity to handle myself, to take care of the people that I love. Now, side note here, I'm not fucking perfect. I did bullying as well. And I'll talk about that on a later episode, I'm sure. But basically, the emotional toll of doubt was deep depression. It was the shame, it was the self hatred. And that impacted my relationships. I struggled to keep relationships because my day-to-day experience was so heavy and so dense emotionally. Anytime someone came into my life that offered a glimmer of hope or a sense of like renewal, I would I'd just latch on, I'd latch on, and I tried to be cool. I tried not to let them know like how much I wanted them, how much I needed them in my life. I couldn't be alone. If I was alone and playing video games, fine. If I was alone and listening to music, fine. But alone, I just couldn't hack it. Obviously, this played out through my life, even into adulthood. I started to live a life that was very small. I stopped going out as much. I'd get invited to birthday dinners and outings to local events with my partner at the time and the friendship group, and I'd just say no. I don't feel like it. I feel depressed. I'm not going to do it. It started to impact my work. I stopped chasing this idea that I could be something important, and I started to sink into taking all I could get and trying to make it work, even though something inside me was screaming for more, screaming for passion, screaming with drive and tenacity to pursue something greater. I ended up staying in jobs where I was mistreated, where I was underpaid, where I was overwhelmed because it just wasn't offering what I needed personally from a job. And then it's only recently where I began to realize that doubt is not evil. It has its place, it has its purpose. And this is where my life began to change. And this is why I'm sitting here in front of you right now. Even though I've got fuck all followers, I feel good about doing this because it feels purposeful. It feels necessary. And I understand what the other side is. I understand what living an identity that is foundationally housed in depression, doubt, anxiety, low self worth. And it's a miserable fucking existence, man. It's fucking shit. Would not recommend. But if you are there, I know what it's like and I see you. I see what you're going through and I know it feels eternal. I know it feels as though there is no way out, there is no breathing space. Sometimes it feels as though you are drowning. I get that. And what I'm trying to do here is to show you that there is a way out, that you can get through this, and that learning different perspectives and emotional regulation tools can help. It gives you something to turn to when life feels like a burden, when you feel like a burden. And some of these tools are things such as, for me personally, mindfulness, breath work, journaling, acceptance commitment therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, journaling, yoga, exercise. All of these things are just a small portion of the tools I have in my toolbox that I've learned along the way that have helped me to get a new lease on life, a new, deeper understanding of who I am and who I want to be in this life. And so it is possible and you can do it. You absolutely can do it. What I realize now is doubt is just information. It's a part of you trying to protect yourself. It's trying to keep you safe. It's not trying to harm you. It can feel like that. It can feel suffocating and it can feel heavy. But here's the truth. You get to use doubt to your advantage. Listen to its wisdom, but decide for yourself whether you listen to it, action it, or continue your path in spite of it. For me, doubt has become a flag to know that I'm going the right way. It's telling me where my edges are. And I can face that and I can move towards that. And that's going to help me grow. It already is. Even just with this right here. Like, this feels fucking uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. Conscious of who can hear me and who's listening on what I'm talking about. What are they thinking about me? And then there's my own thoughts. You know, I'm fucking crazy. What am I doing? This is nuts. But I'm still here because I get to choose. That voice is still there chirping. But now I've created some distance between it and myself. I no longer identify with it. It's just a part of my experience. And I get to choose whether to action it or not. And that's where freedom comes in. That is freedom. Understanding how you work internally, getting very, very familiar with it, and then choosing how to respond to it. That is freedom. That is choice. That is power. That is taking back control. Because all you can control is yourself. You cannot control anybody else. You can influence them, sure, but you cannot control them. You cannot control the world around you. And we fight so fucking hard because it's uncomfortable to do so. Control gives us a sense of safety. But changing your relationship to doubt is going to change your relationship to control. I believe that. That's been my experience. Doubt is not bad, it's just information. Doubt does not mean that what it is saying is true or that it's prophetic. It's not telling the future. It's just a part of you trying to protect who you are. Because what you know feels safe, even if it's uncomfortable. But if you want to get to where you want to go, then this is the type of work you need to do. There's no way around it. Your dream is not just going to fall into your lap. You have to work for it. Not only by doing the actions that are going to get you there, but by doing the actions inside. By cleaning all of this up. By understanding all of this. That, in my mind, is what drives the momentum forward. Because you no longer got your foot on the accelerator and your foot on the brake. Because you're cleaning all the mud, it's accelerator, accelerator, accelerator. And doubt will always be there. It's not going anywhere. There is no point in life where you get to where you're like, all right, I no longer doubt anything. If you get to that point, I would honestly take a good look in the mirror Because I think that's quite a scary place to be, personally. To think that you know, to just automatically accept everything. But that's getting onto different something, other things, whatever. I'm losing my track of mind here. But I mean, for me, it's now become, yes, a signpost for I'm going in the right direction, but it's also become a trigger for a habitual response that I've altered. Before, I used to feel down, and it used to shrink me. It put me into bed rot because I was like, I can't do this. I'm stuck. I need help. Where now it's like, oh, there's doubt. Okay, thank you for trying to keep me safe. What are you telling me? Okay, I accept that you feel that way. That is okay. Thank you for sharing. I take a breath. I choose what I do. I keep moving forward. I pivot, or I change direction completely. But either way, momentum keeps happening. I no longer get stuck in that depression of bed rotting for multiple days just from doubt. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So I guess that will wrap up this episode. Thank you for sticking in. I know it's a bit jumpy and stuff, but obviously, as I said, this is new to me. So it's going to take a bit of time, but I'm confident that with each episode, I'll get a little bit better. I'll get a little bit clearer. And fuck, who knows? Who knows where it will go or what kind of form it will take. But thank you for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next one. All the best.